So we're going to have a quick look at ventilation, anemometers and general condensation. A majority of the damp issues in a property are caused by condensation. The problem is that nowadays we use double glazing, we reduce the air movements, we don't have fires, and therefore we don't have the ventilation caused by the draft from fires, and we also shower a lot more frequently. We dry clothes indoors. We probably wash clothes maybe 3 or 4 times more often than we used to in the past. And this all causes condensation, which you'll see on this mirror is a good example. I have a teenage child and therefore by definition I have some mold, even though I've got a really good vent. Here is the vent. This one does not have any shutters, and the benefit of that is that you've got no obstruction. Unfortunately, most vents come with shutters, and a lot of the shutters fix shut and reduce the speed of vents. But we're going to use an anemometer, and yes, back to the mold. The simplest solution with mold is just to use anti-mold paint and to wash it off as frequently as you can, but I don't worry too much about it. There isn't a huge amount in this property. It's just located in the shower and specifically in the poorly insulated area just above the shower itself. We probably clean it off and repaint it once a year with anti-mold paint, but even anti-mold paint has some limitations. We're going to go on and have a look at the anemometer and the simplest solution to measuring that and making sure that the ventilation is actually working. In this case we can see it's going straight out, so there's no problem at all, but in cases where there's pipe work, even possibly combined pipe work, you'll have risks. Many's the time when I've seen vents that are stuck on the outside, nothing's coming out, it's whirling around, people think it's working but it's not. So we'll have a look at that. Just to explain that teenagers are obviously a great thing, however they do get up in the middle of the night and have a shower, or at least they have a shower when everyone else is asleep, and they are prone to doing so without putting the vent on. We have a switch on our vent. Obviously for most people I would recommend, if you don't have any mold, just make sure you have the switch come on when the light comes on. But you can see the amount. This is about 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes after having a shower. You can see the level of condensation, and it's actually quite a warm day. So modern showers produce a vast amount of condensation. They spray out water compared to, say, the bars that they used to have in Victorian times. This just increases the level of humidity. Humidity over 85% creates a risk of mold, considered to be a health risk, compared to, say, dust mites, which you get in humid conditions, so something to be careful of. We're going to use an anemometer. This is one that you will see in a moment, but you can buy it. It's called the UNI-T363BT. The benefit of this is it does have Bluetooth, but also probably even more important, it has a max and average function. But I use the max function, but it means that you can get it into place and back again without losing the data, which some of the cheaper anemometers will do. We're going to put it onto a long selfie stick. This selfie stick extends to about 3 meters, and we're going to use some tape to hold it into place, and you'll see it in a sec in use. The ideal anemometer is made by Testo, and you can see the speed here is 36 cubic meters per hour, 37. This is a humidistat, so it's longer lasting, it's humidity activated. Ideally you should be around 50 for most properties, but I'm going to put it onto maximum. You can see there, and that will then record the maximum height. But A cheaper version is just a simple anemometer that you might use for sailboarding, for instance. And here, this is the meter reading. You can put it onto, you can set it with a maximum there, and then you just measure that, and you'll find in this case 3.3, you multiply by a factor of about 10, and you can see 4.3 compared to about 43 with the more expensive tester anemometer. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have a look outside and see what the effect is outside. But this is an inexpensive way of doing the same thing. It's more useful for, say, builders or homeowners that don't want to pay £400 or £500 for a large anemometer, and this will give more or less the same information. So here we are outside, and now we're going to change reset the max. So that's now reset. We're going to put it up and take a reading on the outside. Give it a bit of time, try and get as close as possible. You can see the wind bringing out some humid air. This is a good demonstration of why it's important to extract humid air from the source of humidity, being the bathroom. And you can see it's 4, so it's telling us that it's more or less all coming out, which we knew anyway.